BP, what now? Oh man, I had finished this sixth video and I was tired and impulsive and pressed the wrong button and didn't save it. So I gotta go pee, but I want to finish this, and I'd prefer stimulating my brain outside in the forest with my cat right now, but I'm redoing this right away. This will be the sixth one, and it'll be part 0C of 3. And I got my documents ready, and I got enough data, and here is where I am. My ultimate goal in asking for a formal invitation into your country, and hopefully done by the highest level of government, is to prove to you that I do not seek to be here for a free ride or for the sake of money or fame. Rather, I come here offering my services for the betterment of all. Therefore, should you collaborate with me for the benefit of your citizens, I would demonstrate my commitment to you by working very hard and also working among multiple communities where I am needed. Indeed, my goal is not to get rich through these unique professional goals, and in most cases, I believe that I would be able to accept only half of the salaries offered, if such an amount would indeed still allow for me to pay for my basic living, medical, and transportation expenses. On the contrary, my goal is to collaborate with, very likely, the only nation on earth that can currently allow me to do what I do best. There is no denying it. I do believe that my type of expertise are rare, and also that they must be put to good use as I and those that I may collaborate with in New Zealand see fit. As the professor of sociocybernetics, I know that there is always the best time, place, peoples, and series of events to manifest a culture repairing project's highest probability of success. And all my skill sets and my systems thinking come into play here. I was still waiting for Glenn and Irina to reconnect with me because they said they would months ago, and we're still waiting on that. And again, I have to give up on them. But we had a project in the past where I was clear, and they agreed. But when it was time to do it, to actually have a new Zoom conversation about each of 9 different forms of intelligence, and to then challenge ourselves to improve that one, and then check back on it in the next posted transparent online public access vlog. Now, they could not walk the talk, so I ended, and then they hated me or said that I was somehow sabotaging the project. Their brains were not able to see that they were breaking a promise or a claim or an image of who they said they were and what they would do, because they already believe they're that great that they can do this. And then suddenly the walk and the talk portion interacting with an Homo sapien is like there's a barrier, and it's a barrier they can barely understand or describe or talk about later when their feelings settle down. It's not recorded properly in their brain, although I posted the videos and they have access. This is what happened. This is what happened transparently online. It's just, it doesn't go in. So one of the things I would have done is, one of the forms of intelligence I'm not great at is being organized in here. It's a mess. I was looking for the last hat to be my new hat. Thanks, BB, Badminton Buddy, for giving me a discount for this new hat, which protects my biggest asset. It could be a country that said, Martin, we'll put $1 billion in your bank account. You do whatever you want. I don't need $1 billion. I also don't want $1 billion. And also $1 billion is not as great an asset as what's in here, that I want a decent hat, if I can afford it. Sometimes I can't, to protect this biggest asset. So that's really what's important. I want a role model, and it's not hard for me because I truly am an Homo sapien, a lifelong learner, a learning specialist, a culture repairer. You know, I need to role model this, and I need to do a lot of my own personal development and ongoing maturation process and self-actualization with other social creatures, because that's what my DNA intended. Now, I've made a lot of great progress, largely alone in the latter part of my, let's say, 25-year journey. The latter part was mostly me pushing this ongoing self-actualization by myself, but it would not have been as good as if I could have found others on this same journey against the river of the North. There are no universities in any countries of our present world that teaches my unique skill sets, polymath, although some might claim to, such as in Japan, Eumenics, yeah, right. Or in Italy, sociocybernetics, please define. But perhaps in a future New Zealand, there could be. The time for these scientific pursuits to be taken seriously is before now. The ball is now in your field. And I say this because the most played sport in the world is not badminton. The most played sport is soccer, football. And it's played. Played means you include everybody, professionally, non-professional, in the right setting, in the wrong setting, this age group. That the most played is soccer, so it's still the best analogy, I believe, is the right term to use, although I'm a badminton player. And time is of the essence. So I ask you, what will you choose to do? My time capsule ignored by the university and all the other people I sent it to, except they talk about it, how great it is, but nobody's walking the talk. My dear British Columbia residents, which was seen by more than 1,000 people, including people in psychology, teaching, medical, psychiatry, MLAs. It was seen by thousands of people, and nobody talked about what's there to talk about. What I'm going to read after this, which is short, I've offered it many places. Nobody is willing to go there. These are all signs of what I've been talking about. So I ask you, what will you choose to do with this information, with it? To conclude, I genuinely hope that you will be the nation to invest in these paradigms that are of the utmost precedence. Will you collaborate with me and share in these visions of a well-mitigated world? These revolutionary sciences will assist us in creating a precedent of scientific work that will see us all written in the history books as the peoples. So when I put S in brackets, you can say people or peoples. The location, the time, and the series of events in history when humanity first started to take charge of its own destiny and therefore of its own cultural evolution. With thanks and genuine intentions, Martin Parizeau, Professor Marty, Doctor of Eumenics retired, creator of the Master of Science Ecocentric Worldview, Captain Accountability, Graduate Diploma, that's the Muslim, Life Skills Coach, LSC, my proudest achievement course and personal development really done in there. In fact, you couldn't pass that without personal development occurring during the course. BA, mostly psychology courses, and DECA. I had so much trouble, then decided to go back to school. Then I had an 80% average for the last 2 semesters. So again, I'm not just claiming I'm a learning specialist because I took courses, but because I failed in a lot of courses and overcame them and understood not just my own brain, but more and more of other people's brains, by the way. Okay, and if you don't let me demonstrate that this is the fact with you walking the talk, who are you to judge me? In these series of 6, I offered an opportunity of hope in these 6 videos. Will anybody comment and say, please tell me this solution that you're talking about that you said ask me? And by the way, I would really answer if you ask, compared to, let's say McDonald's and somebody presses the button, ask me. And by the time they do the change, it's too late. I said, go do it right away. But actually, there are buttons in your screen, instead of ask me, that says the right things. And if it's not there, then you can even put in other or ask me. Thing is, it's fast food, quality, everything fast, everything for the paycheck. The bottom line, there's no quality, there's no humanity. And finish for this one, and then I'll read the other short one, which again, I knew when I wrote this and sent it that the people primates are gone. It was extremely unlikely that anybody or organization or institution would commit to asking me to do this series. Looking at mental health from a more human perspective. As a Vancouver Island resident and culture pair, I seek to offer my own contributions of hope for these upcoming and increasingly challenging times. I plan to write this series by tackling the greater topic of mental health while promising you a fresh new perspective in regards to understanding mental health trends from outside of its current paradigms, but also by addressing its parallel paradigms related to our own species' lack of success for achieving psychological maturation, as these do, in fact, immensely depend on the cultures, communities of education at all levels as well. Where to begin? Well, how about our brains? For a bear to become a mature adult bear, it needs to learn a series of brain apps, skill sets, bear thinking tools, bear behaviors, if you will. These bear skill sets, for example, acquiring food, tree climbing, confidently saying goodbye to its own parentage, aggression when needed, swimming, finding, keeping shelter, avoiding people primates, and successfully mating with a well-suited partner, just to name a few, can be learned in a relatively short time span compared to that of a people baby. There's a lot of things that I want to add with this paragraph, but the only thing I'm going to say right now is that I am being successful at raising my cat to be a cat. And raising, I say this now because of his age difference, and then after that it'll be more life partner. I'm successfully doing it, especially something I noticed today. Even though I'm not a cat. And you would need a non-domesticated cat to raise a cat. Because if it's a domesticated cat, it's not really a cat. And you're not really who you claim to be because you're so domesticated. The baby brains of our species, the Homo communio, the true name of our species, take about 25 years to fully mature successfully, but only if learning certain skill sets, cognitive apps, nurtured in very specific ways, so as to attain an optimal development type of schedule over this 25-year period. These approaches were slightly less neglected and a bit more widely known in the recent past. I'm being generous here. Sadly, these human factors are neglected more and more as time passes. Partly, this is due to ongoing neglect in efficiently monitoring this phenomenon during the last few generations. Explaining as to the why will have to be for a later time. And part of it is, it's hard to swallow reality. You got to give it in small doses. A short answer could be that almost no one on Earth is now qualified to role model these human thinking tools in relation to modernity. So that's why I said before I was born, and that's one way to assess the tipping points of my past, the last human child may have been born. And I don't mean genetically. I mean for a child to have been born in a community where this 25-year successful period to become a human Homo sapien child would occur. It was already too late when I was born. And that includes everywhere around the world. These rare individuals would also be less likely to be found in the realms, industries of mental health and or education. I'll offer you some of that promised hope for now by saying that certain individuals are, selflessly, assuming the unpopular responsibility of attempting to reverse these devolving human trends. I'm not giving up. I have always, based on, being soon 54 years old and having the energy and motivation that I have, which is above average for what I'm going through living among the Homo communio during modernity. I'm still working on things, and there will be success. And of course, success doesn't have to be on a huge scale. Now, for a change to happen on a global scale, it would have to be at least 66% of people suddenly becoming human people up here, right? Which, of course, is not possible, but you can still leave a blueprint of what it is by working with a small community. Because, that's the only benefit I can think of technology right now. Because technology at this point is doing us more harm than good, because we are doing more of the HSD mimetic infections of each other with, let's say, the internet than we would have if we didn't have the internet. And of course, it's not because of the internet, it's because we had already passed these tipping points long before the internet. So I'm finishing up the video here. And I wanted to say that in this video, there's actually another set example of proof. Like, many of the things I said and wanted to commit to in helping you in the past were documented, and you failed at accepting this help as it really is. And in these 6 videos, there is an example of ask me, for this hope, and please, somebody just write something, and whether you commit to even paying attention to my response or not, just ask me. And again, this is not how you kind of change your ongoing projection of the continuing devolution of the human condition. I mean, but it would be nice, it'd be nice if somebody asked me of what I said in the other video with a comment in that video. Or maybe you missed it and you can ask me in this 6th video. Say, what is it that you think individuals can do without, having the entire journey you went through? And it is very much linked to how HSD is spread to others, and how you can play your part in being part of the solution in a way that actually benefits you if you want to tap into your sentience. If you don't want to, you will see that as not benefiting you, which is what the norm actually does. So I don't expect I don't expect to to meet a student of Humanix with these videos, but you never know.